Malik used to wake up before the world did. The streets were empty, the air heavy with cold, and the silence pressed against him like a weight he couldn't shake. He had dreams once, bright, untouchable dreams, but life had a way of whispering that they were too big, too loud, too impossible. Every day felt like the same day, the same gray sky, the same cracked pavement, the same empty fridge waiting at home. People around him smiled, laughed, lived, but Malik walked through life like a ghost, unnoticed, unheard, unseen. He watched others rise while he stayed still, caught between wanting to fight and being too exhausted to move. Sometimes he wondered if the world would even notice if he disappeared. But he kept going, not because he had hope, but because stopping wasn't an option. Not yet. And yet, there were moments, tiny sparks he tried to ignore, a word of encouragement that barely reached him, a memory of laughter long gone. It was enough to make him wonder if maybe, just maybe, he could be more than what life had pressed him to be. But for now, Malik carried his silence like armor, hiding his fear, hiding his pain, hiding the man he wanted to become. The world saw a quiet figure. He saw a battlefield inside himself, one he wasn't ready to fight. One evening, Malik sat alone on the rooftop he had climbed so many times before. The city lights flickered like distant stars, beautiful yet unreachable. He had carried the weight of his life for so long, trying to be strong in silence, trying to convince himself that surviving was enough. But tonight felt different. He watched a man across the street, laughing with his friends, sharing stories, living freely without the burden he knew all too well. And something inside Malik broke, not in a dramatic scream or sudden explosion, but quietly, like a glass cracking from the inside. It was the realization that he had been hiding, not from the world, but from himself. Years of restraint, years of invisible battles, years of waiting. They all poured into that one moment. The life he had wanted was slipping through his fingers while he stood frozen. And for the first time, he asked himself the question he had avoided for so long: am I really living or just surviving? The silence around him was deafening. And in that silence, Malik finally saw the truth. He could not stay in this shadow of himself. Not anymore. The breaking point wasn't about giving up. It was about seeing clearly, about knowing that everything he had tolerated, every small defeat he had allowed, had led him here. And he had to decide: stay broken or start something he didn't yet understand. He didn't know what the next step would look like. He didn't know if he would succeed. But for the first time, he felt awake, present, aware. And in that awareness, a quiet, stubborn flame ignited inside him, a small, fragile light that whispered, "It's time to stop running." The next morning, Malik woke up before the sun. But this time, he didn't feel the weight of yesterday pressing on his chest. Instead, there was a quiet hum inside him, a small but undeniable pulse that reminded him he was still here, still breathing, still capable. He didn't have all the answers. He didn't know exactly where he was going or what awaited him. But for the first time in years, he felt aligned with himself, no longer hiding from the world or from his own potential. The small, stubborn flame that had sparked the night before now burned steadily, guiding him forward. Malik started walking through the city streets again, but everything looked different. The cracked pavement wasn't just obstacles anymore, it was a map, each line a lesson learned. The empty cafes, the silent alleyways, the rooftops he had sat on, they weren't reminders of failure. They were stages, rehearsals for the man he was becoming. He practiced discipline quietly, in small ways. Waking up earlier, walking farther, thinking deeper, refusing to let fear or doubt dictate his next move. Every step was deliberate, every breath intentional. Malik understood now that greatness wasn't given, it was claimed, moment by moment, choice by choice. And in that clarity, he whispered to himself, not as a proclamation to anyone else, but as a vow: I will not settle. I will not hide. I will rise quietly, deliberately, without the world noticing, until one day it cannot ignore me. Malik had not yet arrived, but he had begun. And sometimes, beginning is enough.